Well, joined by Quentin Williams. You may have seen us or seen him on our air before, but what an amazing honor, Q, that you have coming up. Obviously, the Worthy 100. If folks don't necessarily know about this, it's a very prestigious award in Worthy magazine. And I want to talk a little bit about what this means for you. I know that you are dedicated to the community as your nonprofit is and the work that you do that is ongoing. But talk a little bit about what this means to you and really what this is so folks kind of know out there that are listening.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. So the Worthy 100 is a list of people who have made an impact on society, and they do it through many different avenues, whether it's finance, not-for-profits, academia. So it's a list that I feel very honored to be included on. There are many other people who do great things out there, so this is not an all-inclusive list of everybody who does great stuff, but it's one of those opportunities, as I see it, to give notoriety not to me, but to the people who have been on this mission with me at Dedication to Community. There are a lot of people who work hard to bring people together, and that's what we do. We teach people how to build more meaningful relationships, and especially with law enforcement and the community.
I love that. And we're going to get more into that. I have to say, though, because there's a shock factor when your name is mentioned among other names like Billie Eilish, Viola Davis, Hugh Jackman, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart. I mean, you're among some of these individuals right now. I mean, literally, what does your mind tell you? When you hear some of those names and then to be honored. I know the work has been probably long, enjoyable, rewarding, but it probably is a little bit surreal as well, right?
Yeah, it most certainly is surreal. I'm an under the radar kind of guy, so I just do the work, put my head down, keep chopping wood, hopefully make an impact on society in some way. Those names you mentioned are extremely talented people, and they span a lot of entertainers doing great things in society. I'm one of those guys that I'm a lunch pail guy. I just fill up my lunch pail, get ready for a big lunch when I'm allowed to take it. But I go to work and just go to work with great people. This is something that is an award for not just me, but for everybody who is a part of this movement.
I love that. Dedication to community, man. I know because we're friends outside of work. So I know how much you travel, how much you work, how much you're not at home with those lovely kids, because you are truly, as the name states, dedicated to not just the Charlotte community, but many others. I know because of your work as a former FBI agent, you have a love not only for people, but to do good in these communities. So talk a little bit about what you're doing right now, what Dedication to Community is, and then just the number of communities that you guys are in and working to help that relationship that you just spoke of.
Well, first of all, thank you for mentioning my kids. They sacrifice a lot because they see me leave for a few days at a time, and it's not necessarily easy for them to go without a father and be in the presence of friends and a nanny, but still they do understand the importance of the mission. And our mission is through a relationship building construct. We teach people how to, as human beings, treat each other like human beings. And a lot of our work, perhaps 60% of our work, is with law enforcement and the communities served. And it's a national not-for-profit, so it's across the nation in many states. We've been in 32 states thus far. So it's an all-encompassing. We teach academics, incarcerated populations, the military, police. We teach corporate America. How do we treat people like human beings? Relationships are the key. And so that's what we do. Yeah. We teach people how to have meaningful relationships with each other.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but I know it's a complex thing, especially nowadays, Q. It's needed more than ever. Let's talk a little bit about some of the high-profile people, because as you said, you're a behind-the-scenes type of guy. You'll never say it unless I pull it out of you. I mean, you've had relationships with the Miami Heat, Pat Riley, the Boston Celtics, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you've been in Boston. You've done so many different things, not just with NBA teams, but with NFL teams as well. So talk about how critical it is to loop in some of these athletes, some of these notable figures to try and help, the initiative that's ongoing.
Well, they have a platform like the Miami Heat, for example. Miami Heat is a partner of Dedication to Community. They have a platform where they, in one social media post, they can reach 25 million people. It's very important that we collaborate as a society with each other. We have the content, the credibility. I'm fortunate to have been an FBI agent and a federal prosecutor. So we have the content, credibility, our faculty. We have 40 faculty members, and they're all incredible people too, judges and chiefs of police, academics. We have pieces of this puzzle, but in order to make it a movement, there have to be other pieces. So when you take our curriculum and our credibility and our access and put it together with the access and the sustainability of a Miami Heat, now you have something that is the beginnings of a movement. And that's what we believe we've created with the Miami Heat and other individuals who have a platform. It's not just Miami Heat, but they're a big one for us, for sure.
And I know we're highlighting this, Q, during February, during Black History Month. I don't want to sell this short, obviously, because you guys do this work all year long, and it's why we're trying to highlight and really honor you for your work, because as you know, and as I know, many generations have gone before us to do some of this work in its infancy, and now we're just carrying that torch. So what does it mean to you, right, to think about Black History Month, for you to step foot in some of these communities or some of these organizations, right? And I'm sure being an a former FBI agent as well, it means something to carry this torch and to really help this relationship between law enforcement and community members, because it's a critical one, right?
It's a critical one, and it's vital that we do it properly, because we're standing on the shoulders of people who have sacrificed their lives for this movement. Now, this just didn't start within the last 20 years. We've been doing it for 20 years, but well beyond in the past what we have been doing, there were many people who were, whether it was during the civil rights movement, Jim Crow, during the transatlantic slave trade, the seeds have been planted, and then we are figuratively on their shoulders, but I feel like at times it's literally on their shoulders, because I can see the pain of generations past and the burden that they've carried and how it's impacted them and affected them in their latter years. We want to allow them to know that the work that they've done is not in vain. Right. That there is change, there is opportunity, and we believe it's all through education. We could change minds and hearts and spirits and souls. So that's what we do. We do it for not just the future generations, but for the generations of our past.
I love that. I love that. And obviously, you got to give thank you to the law enforcement community, to yourself as well, for making those steps, because as we know, it's a process. We would not be in this country as safe as we are, though, without our emergency personnel and everybody that put their lives in the line for us, for this freedom. So appreciate that, Q. Appreciate your career and now the transition to the communities that you're in right now, man. It's good to see. And I always ask this question at the end of an interview or a conversation, man. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you thought was important, maybe about dedication to community, maybe about Black History Month as a whole, that you wanted to get across to folks so that they know the important work that you're doing or the important work that you still have to do? Anything else that comes to mind there?
Well, I'm proud to be a Black American, but I want our nation to know that this is not just a Black issue. This is an issue that affects all of us. And the people we have working at Dedication to Community span the spectrum of gender, race, ethnicity. They're all committed to doing this work because they just want to see us live as human beings, treating each other like human beings. So I'm very honored. I believe that Black History Month is every month. We are the history of this nation just as much as anybody else. But there are a lot of other people involved in this movement. So it is a collaborative effort.
Well said. Well said. Congratulations to you, Q. I know it's very deserving. I know you work very hard, and I know there's a lot of work to do. So we appreciate you, and we offer you success in your future endeavors. Won't be the last time we see you on WCNC as well, my friend. Appreciate your time, man.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
God bless.
God bless you.